On the news, international flights resume in the country after 5 months. APC flags off Akeredolu re-election campaign. Police detain protesters rallying against virus restrictions in Australia. Everton signed Brazilian Alan for £21 million. We generate fears while we sit, we overcome them by actions. Welcome to the Ogtv main news. I am Mojisola Shulaja. We're starting on a political note. The All Progressives Congress APC flagged off its campaign for the October 10 governorship election in Ondo State with a unifying rally attended by leaders of the party across all levels and supporters at the Akure Township Stadium. The campaign flagged off rally was preceded by an official endorsement of the party's candidate in the election, Arakunrin Rotimi Akeredolu, by President Muhammadu Buhari when he presented the party's flag on Friday at the Aso Villa and tasked the leaders of the party to work in unison to ensure its victory at the polls. Governor's Office correspondent Tunde Olaniro reports that the leaders of the party and governors of APC-controlled states across the country, including the governor of Ogun State, Prince Dapo Abiodun, were in Akure to rally support for Arakunrin Rotimi Akeredolu. This report.
Akure, the Ondo State capital, played host to the national leaders and governors of the All Progressives Congress APC to flag off the campaign of its gubernatorial candidate in the October 10 polls, Arakunrin Rotimi Akeredolu. The Akure Stadium was filled with residents of the state who came to offer support and listen to the plans of the APC for the state for the next 4 years. Governor Mai Mala Buni, the chairman of the APC Caretaker Committee and governor of Yobe State, led a delegation of other governors and leaders of the party from across the country to the flag-off rally and assured voters that the party will further improve the fortunes of the state. On his part, Akeredolu, who is seeking re-election on the platform of the APC, says he believed that what God had enabled him to do in the state would speak for him. He says that his administration has touched several facets of lives in the state and was particularly proud of the achievements in the area of infrastructure. October 10, the date for decision to be made by the people of Ondo State, and the ruling APC is optimistic that the people will decide in their favor. Tunde Olaniro, Ogtv News.
Ogun State government has commended the management of the state-owned television Ogtv, ably led by Mr. Festus Kende, for its effort at repositioning the people's tele. The Chief of Staff told the Ogun State Governor Alhaji Shoaib Afolabi Salisu and some government functionaries with us known while assessing the progress of the corporation 2 years after the appointment of Festus Kende as the general manager. Moses Ojomi reports.
In the last 2 years, the Ogun State-owned station has recorded tremendous improvements, keeping up with the standards and demands of the 21st century, courtesy of a vision-driven management of the station, led by Mr. Festus Kende, under the enabling environments provided by the Prince Dapo Abiodun-led administration. In his line of duty, Mr. Festus Kende's paths have crossed with many political office holders and technocrats. Alhaji Shoaib Afolabi Salisu, the Chief of Staff to the Ogun State Governor, says he has done well in his style of leadership.
I have no doubt that the next few years down the line, Ogtv will not only be an improved television that's a pride of our state. It will also reenact its old glory. Is expanding the horizon of Ogtv, and I think it's a pleasure working with him in the building of Vision Together agenda of the current administration.
From the Ogun State Head of Service to political appointees, the People's Tele is on a good trajectory, but there's still room for improvements.
He has used his professionalism to develop the station. He believes in the top-bottom approach so that everybody can contribute to the development of the station, and that is working for him very well.
He's very professional, he's quite thorough, he has good ideas, he has big dreams for the station. He's very personable, he's easy to get along with, which is good when you're a leader.
He's very open to a lot of changes, he supports people, and something that makes him to stand out is the fact that he's very dedicated.
With the deregulation of the media industry and advancements in media technologies, Ogtv, the People's Tele, couldn't afford to be left behind.
Ogtv is presently on DSTV, GoTV, StarTimes platforms, as well as terrestrial transmission. Now that makes him the envy of all. Another feather to his very full cap will be the establishment of the Broadcast Academy when it eventually takes off.
One of the things I enjoyed from him was that immediately I resumed here, he ensured that there's a very good relationship between us and Ogtv, and quite a lot of things that we do here, he has taken it to everybody in the state and Nigeria to see what we are doing in FMC in terms of health service delivery.
He joined the Ogun State Television as librarian on the 4th of January 1989, rose through the ranks and was appointed the general manager on 1st of September 2018 by the immediate past administration in Ogun State. He is currently the chairman of Zone C Southwest chapter of the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria, BON. Moses Ojewumi, Ogtv News.
After a 5-month closure of the Nigerian airspace to scheduled international flights due to lockdown occasioned by the coronavirus pandemic, foreign travels resumed in the country when an aircraft operated by Middle East Airlines and British Airways touched down at the Murtala Muhammad International Airport, Lagos. The plane, which took off from Beirut, Lebanon, landed at the airport at exactly 2:27 p.m. The Delta airplane is also expected to begin flight operations at the airport. The Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, is also expected to reopen for international flights. The country's airspace and airports had been shut to flight operations in March to curb the spread of the lethal coronavirus disease. The Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, has said there will be sanctions for non-compliance with the guidelines on the part of the approved airlines and passengers. As the coronavirus pandemic continues to take its toll on the economy, government and policymakers have been urged to seriously pay adequate attention to creating platforms to tackle unemployment and create socio-economic space for the youth. This was the view of respondents while speaking on how youth can explore many opportunities outside the formal setting. Shemilori Makonju has the details.
It is no more news that the rising level of unemployment rate in Nigeria, an urge for white-collar jobs calls for serious concern in tackling the situation which many say is becoming an epidemic. Respondents advised on the need to think out of the box and seek other means to make a living.
In the period of this pandemic, depending on which sector that particular job falls, that is when you begin now to assess what has been the effect in terms of positives or negatives. Agriculture is key. Apart from the fact that it feeds you, the business owner, it feeds others as well, and it puts a lot of money in your pocket. That's one side of it. Now, being an artisan too is also key.
So there is no vocation that is useless. No matter your degree, no matter your level of education, it is expected that you should be able to do something with your hand, you should be able to do something with your life to contribute to the development of the society. You know where you are gifted. Use that gift to better the lot of the society and, of course, yourself.
The special advisor to the Ogun State Governor on Communications, Honorable Remi Hassan, says the current administration made it a priority to create platforms with promotion of vocational education aimed at training artisans.
State government is seriously considering and promoting vocational education. So some of our model colleges will be converted to vocational centers where artisans will be trained, and these artisans will also be incorporated into the housing development stride of Ogun State.
To resolve the challenge, an educationist also called for increased investment in education, infrastructure, and ensure that skills align with the needs of people.
To encourage these vocations, how will they encourage? Make fund available for as many that are willing to at a very reduced interest rate, and then access road so that it won't be that where I want to site my farm, I will have difficulties in bringing my produce to town. And then electricity. If we have good electricity, I will even prefer to live in the village.
They also called for attention on trade-related issues and provide socio-economic space to ensure that job seekers can be engaged and be self-independent without limitations. Shemilori, Makonju, Ogtv News.
The Trade Union Congress on Saturday says it will not go back on its decision to embark on a protest on Tuesday against the increase in the prices of fuel and electricity tariff, despite speculations about a court order stopping the proposed demonstration. TUC Deputy National President Chika Onebu will disclose this to Nisman, said the union had begun to mobilize its members for the protest and strike, explaining that the TUC was not aware of any court order to stop the planned protest. Onebu condemned the increase of fuel price, adding that the federal government's action had become a burden on Nigerians. Onebu called on the federal government to immediately revert to the old prices of fuel before the recent increase to avert the protest. Cigarette smoking is associated with numerous clinical cardiovascular disease endpoints, including coronary heart disease, stroke, and increased risk for tuberculosis. Despite this, many people still smoke, even in public places. In this special report, experts highlight some health implications attached with smoking. Ido Fabajo reports.
The potential health benefits of smoking cessation are substantial, as stopping smoking reduces the future risk of tobacco-related diseases, slows the progression of existing tobacco-related disease, and improves life expectancy by an average of 10 years, according to medical experts. Taking a look at health implications of smoking, especially in public places, experts say 50% of smokers die of a smoking-related disease, adding that the life expectancy of 1 in 4 smokers is reduced by as much as 15 to 20 years.
Different kind of health implications that could occur as a result of smoking marijuana or tobacco are things such as cancer. One of the most relevant ones would be lung cancer or throat and mouth cancer. People that smoke tobacco or marijuana in general also pose risk of having a chronic pulmonary obstructive disease, which is also known as COPD, and there's also risk of heart disease and strokes that could occur from smoking cigarettes or any other substance such as marijuana.
You can see both great and small, men and even women, that is female and male, that are involved in it. Especially even our young ones now, they are involved in it. And the more they smoke this substance, the effect is very large. It affects the individual, even the society at large. The individual will suffer from mental illness. The family the significant others will also be affected.
Orientation and awareness are said to be the major way out of the menace.
There are also mental implications to smoking. This includes feelings of anxiety, paranoia, hallucinations, and signs of depression and schizophrenia as well. There's also a lot of lack of information, if I would say, when it comes to possible treatment alternatives. So my best advice would be to seek medical attention at a...
Then how do we help those that have been affected? The individual or the group of people that have been affected mentally we can always bring them to the hospital. That's the reason why the government have to invest more on the area of education of people, both the parents and their wards needs to be educated. Many often they found information through the internet, but the internet are just giving them half information.
According to respondents, there is need for stronger educational efforts and policies that can enhance the effectiveness of health warnings in communicating health risks and promoting quit attempts. Ido Fabaju, Ogtv News.
Still on health, the 5th of September of every year globally marks Spinal Cord Injury Day, with the intention of increasing awareness on spinal cord injury among the general public. It is also presumed that awareness will facilitate an inclusive life for persons with disabilities and ensure greater chances of success for prevention programs. Bumi Adigun takes a look at the day and its uniqueness.
Since its inception on the 5th of September 2016, the Spinal Cord Injury Day has been recording increasing success around the world under different slogans. Yes, we can in 2017, stop spinal cord injury in 2018, and living life to the fullest in 2019.
No, everybody on wheelchair are not spinal cord injured patients. So essentially, spinal cord injury is most commonly gotten from accidents, either from motor traffic accidents or people falling from height.
This year's focus is on the prevention of COVID-19 for persons with spinal cord injury, with the slogan, COVID-19 and spinal cord injury, staying well.
Is to say that, look, these people already have issues and we don't want COVID-19 to become added to it. So they should do everything that they can to make sure that they stay healthy and alert, and everybody around them, knowing fully well that they are in a precarious situation, should not worsen their cases.
Create awareness and let the people know what we go through, and let governments know where to come in. Let public spirited people also know where to come in, that these people, this could have been me. How can we come to their rescue?
Faced with this unique challenge, there has been a growing awareness of the role of social media in combating loneliness and in dissemination of appropriate information involving healthcare professionals, communities, and more importantly, the consumers themselves. The way COVID-19 will be dealt with and its aftermath will most certainly pave way for the future of persons with spinal cord injuries and other disabilities.
It's not too life-threatening, but it can be life-threatening when it's not well managed. In managing spinal cord injury, we need a lot of exercise. We need a lot of therapies, maybe dance therapy, music therapy, milieu therapy. The milieu therapy is the one we are doing here today, so that others that are not around, we that have the experience, we can share our experience with them. From them, they will know that this is what I should do, this is what I should do. Because
Bumi Adigun, Ogtv News.
The 44th Ordinary Meeting of the ECOWAS Mediation and Security Council has called for special attention to curb the wave of terrorist attacks in the region, especially in Nigeria, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. The ECOWAS ministers also urged the regional body to take necessary steps to ensure smooth conduct of the upcoming presidential polls in 5 of the member states: Guinea, Côte d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, Ghana, and Niger. The 44th Ordinary Meeting of the ECOWAS Mediation and Security Council at the ministerial level was presided over by Kala Ankaurau, Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Niger, who is the chair of the council. The meeting was to review the political and security situation in the region, with particular emphasis on the political processes in the Gambia and Guinea-Bissau. And now to some foreign stories. Niger's National Human Rights Commission has accused the army of executing dozens of civilians during counterinsurgency operations. It said it had discovered more than 70 bodies and 6 mass graves in Bilabiri in the northwest of the country, an area affected by jihadist violence. The killings allegedly happened earlier this year. One of the investigators said the civilians had been killed with bladed weapons and small arms. International rights groups have accused the armies of Niger, Mali and Burkina Faso of carrying out dozens of extrajudicial executions during campaigns against jihadists and other armed groups in the Sahel region. Australian police have made dozens of arrests amid anti-lockdown protests attended by hundreds nationwide. In Melbourne, the center of Australia's outbreak, about 300 people marched in defiance of tough measures that have been in place for a month. Other protests took place in Sydney, Brisbane, Perth. On Friday, Prime Minister Scott Morrison said 7 of the country's 8 states and territories had agreed to open their internal borders by December. He suggested that an eventual travel bubble with New Zealand could boost tourism and help revive the economy. Confirmed virus cases in Australia have more than tripled to over 26,000 over the past 2 months, with deaths rising to 748 from 104 over the same period. And now to sports. World number 1 Novak Djokovic moved comfortably into the US Open 4th round, beating John Lennon-Struff in straight sets. The 33-year-old Serb saw off the German 28-seed 6-3, 6-3, 6-1 in the session of Arthur Ashe Stadium. Djokovic, seeking his 18th Grand Slam title, remains unbeaten in 2020 and has now extended his winning streak to 26. But great fourth seed Stefanos Tsitsipas is out after blowing 6 match points against Bonacourage. Djokovic will play Spanish 20th seed in Paulo Carreño Busta in the 4th round in New York. Everton have signed Brazilian midfielder Alan from Napoli on a 3-year contract for a fee believed to be around £21.7 million. Alan is Everton's first signing of the summer, and the move reunites him with former Napoli boss Carlo Ancelotti. Everton are also closing on deals for Watford's Abdoulaye Doucouré and James Rodriguez from Real Madrid. Alan played 61 games under Ancelotti and Napoli, and it says the Italian did everything possible to bring him to Goodson Park. Alan made more than 200 appearances for Napoli after joining from Udinese and played alongside Turfist forward Richarlison as host. Brazil won the 2019 Copa America. And just before we end the news, we'll serve you the weather forecast. That was weather forecast for Sunday, 6th September 2020. We generate fears while we sit. We overcome them by action, says Dr. Henry Link. You can now watch us live on these platforms: Apple, Roku, Windows, BlackBerry, Facebook, and Android devices. You can also watch live on Ogtv website www.ogtv.com.ng/live. We have come to the end of the news. We thank you for watching.
This week in history, a 19-year-old Indonesian boy was rescued on the 31st of August 2018 after 49 days afloat when his floating fish trap became adrift. Thomas Edison patented the kinetoscope on the 31st of August 1897. Kinetoscope is a kinetographic camera, which is a device that produces moving pictures. The wreck of the sunken ship Titanic was found in the North Atlantic Ocean on the 1st of September 1985. On the 1st of September 2015, no fewer than 31 civil servants who cut across many ministries and departments in Ekiti State were punished by Governor Ayodele Fayose for coming late to work. The machine gun was first used in battle on the 2nd of September 1898. Fatima Nabil became the first news presenter to appear with headscarf on Egyptian state television on the 2nd of September 2012. The Skyscraper Day is observed every September 3rd. The day was chosen to honor Louis Sullivan, who was born on the 3rd of September 1856. Sullivan was the architect credited with the first skyscraper designs. A skyscraper is a tall, continuously habitable building of many stories,